let's talk about something that is very important and also actually something very practical you could start working with for yourself in order to realize more of your inherent spiritual nature, to go beyond the physical. And we can do that through an act called meditation. Now, I have mentioned this word numerous times through numerous videos, and I've also noticed over the years in general, people sometimes have asked me, well, could you explain more about meditation, about how we could go about it ourselves? Are there techniques, etc.? Well, I think one of the easiest ways for me to explain this is to simply work with these energy centers called chakras. I think it originated in the Eastern spirituality, and it has found its way into the West. And actually, these chakras are also described in the Bible, in the book of Revelations, as the 7 candlesticks, the 7 seals, the 7 churches, etc. Symbolism for these 7 energy points that are residing within the body, non-physically speaking, as energy centers within the body. Now, through meditations, you can actually start to direct the energy that is moving within through the body. That is the energy of the soul itself. So if you look at the picture on my video that I have there these days, it is a person that is seated in a certain position. There are many different positions that people take during meditation, but you see the colorful circles on top of the body, and they stand for the chakras. So they go up from the bottom all the way to the top of the head. They have all a particular color to them. But here's the important thing. If you go to the bottom, like the red, orange, yellow chakras, the bottom 3 basically, they are dealing with the energy centers that keep the soul locked into physicality. Now that's very interesting, because what do they actually stand for? Well, the bottom one keeps you rooted to this planet. It keeps you rooted in physicality, keeps you balanced. It is also where sexuality and other stuff comes in. You know, sexuality is a very strong pull for most humans. To be honest with you, in this lifetime, for me personally, the only times I've noticed my sexuality getting kind of out of control, if I'm gonna be really honest with you, was during the times I would drink way too much alcohol, interestingly enough. But as a sober person these days, I notice that it's not there. So personally, for me, it's not really out of whack. Like with some people who are sober, they're totally obsessed with it. They just can't get enough of it. They keep seeking it out. They just can't find any peace without it. But it's because the whole energy center of that area is just out of whack. It's not balanced at all. Another chakra that is at the bottom half is the one that we describe as the solar plexus. The solar plexus, the place where you feel your emotions, there you get these gut feelings. So another interesting fact about that chakra is that when, especially as little children, but even as adults, maybe you hear about it still, not always, but they might say when they're in love, they have these butterflies in their stomach. That's actually a manifestation of one of these energy centers. And initially, that is not a bad thing. You could say being in love is a wonderful thing, right? It's true. But you know, the butterflies are actually a sign that you're also becoming highly attached to a person, physically speaking, in your world, physically. You feel very attached to that person. You're in love. You're basically, in a way, obsessed with that person as well. And you feel it in your gut. It's one of the energy centers of the body again. It's one of the chakras that's causing that. So again, you can see how it keeps you tied to physicality in a particular way. Another chakra of the bottom half also deals with digestion and stuff, the obsession with eating and food and wanting, you know, to indulge in all kinds of physical stuff that all occurs through these lower chakras. Now, if you go from the green one in the middle, right up top of the heart, upwards, now these are the interesting ones for spiritual growth. And my YouTube channel also has a profile picture, maybe you have noticed it, maybe you haven't, but it's completely green. And that green circle, that it's actually an icon for the heart chakra, which is the most important ultimately in spiritual development. Because from the green one upwards, you're dealing with the spiritual powers, the non-physical powers of your soul. So they allow you to perceive and experience spirituality, the true spirituality, the true unity with God. So the heart chakra, as I've said before in a video, is the gateway of intuition towards God himself, towards God's wisdom. You know, when you feel through your heart chakra, the truth of revelations, the truth of what comes to you, spiritually speaking, then you truly know. Then you can truly develop a power to apply that wisdom in your life. Through the heart chakra, through your whole being, it starts to operate. From the heart chakra, it will go upwards towards your mind, but it will also go downwards, starting to influence the lower chakras that are otherwise blinding you to this unity you share with God because of all the obsessions that might occur if you're not in harmony through your heart chakra. Now you have the throat chakra, through which we speak right now, but you can also speak things into being, non-physically speaking, but also physically speaking if you're highly advanced and trained in this. Now I can say right now, in this moment of time, I've not witnessed myself speaking literally things into being, but spiritually speaking, in non-physical astral realms, I have spoken things into being. I would just think of them, I would speak of them in my heart, and they came into being right in front of my eyes. Now the other one that is very fascinating is what we call the third eye chakra, and that's placed right between the eyebrows, the front of your head. That's where that chakra resides. That is allowing you to perceive non-physical realms. So if you learn to activate that chakra, that energy point, you will be able to perceive more of your own non-physical nature, and you will be able to perceive the unity that lies beyond physical creation. You also have the crown chakra, which is the gateway through which the soul has descended into the body, through the brain, and then energizing the spinal cord and nervous system, allowing this body to have what we call life. Because when a person passes away, it's only the soul that has left the body, and therefore the body seems lifeless. So it is the soul that energizes this body and makes the personality express itself with and through this body right now that you and I are using. Now what do you want to understand through meditation is that you can use your own ability to focus on whatever of these chakras you want in order to magnify them. Now if you want to deal with the spiritual, if you want to achieve spiritual vision and actual perception of the unity that lies beyond creation, the unity you share with God, then you have to activate your third eye. And you can do this through meditation by closing your eyes first and foremost. You take deep breaths in and out, because the point here is to first totally relax the body, to feel a state of being completely relaxed, and then pointing your attention on the third eye. So with your eyes closed, you simply focus on the third eye. And what you're going to discover is if you learn to focus intensely enough, you'll start to lose sensation of the physical body. Now I've done this numerous times and I keep practicing it daily because it's fascinating, but I know I can always get better at it myself. But at times, if I focus on my third eye in meditation, it's true, I lose the sensation of my body. It's almost like if I come back with my focus on the physical world, if I open my eyes basically and start to move around my arms and stuff, they might feel completely numb, and it's not because I cut off circulation or anything, it's because I focused my conscience so intensely on spiritual perception that I literally temporarily am losing awareness of this physical body that I normally operate through. If you practice this every single day for yourself, then you're going to find more and more peace initially within and through your very being. And then if you keep going, you will start to discover that peace will open up your heart chakra as well, further and further. As you focus on the third eye chakra, you will eventually reach a point that you start to see stuff with your eyes closed. It might happen quickly, it might take a while before you ever to experience such a thing, but it will happen. That's the point. You have to first accept and understand that these energy points exist so that you can start working with them consciously. If you dismiss them because you can't see them with your physical eyes right away or something, or it sounds too vague and bizarre, well then you're never really going to push yourself to really discover what these energy centers can do for you. You see, when I talk for my videos, I talk from my heart. That's the only way to describe it. I am not sitting here with a microphone in my hand trying to intellectually think of how am I going to explain this and that. I just let the words flow through the heart chakra. I know I'm using my throat to speak, of course, but the information, the insights, they come into my awareness through the heart chakra itself. And the reason why it is that way is because in a vision, personally for myself, I have seen God take on particular forms. God is not just one form, and that is it. No, he can take on any form because he is infinity and he is everything all at once. It doesn't matter. He takes on particular forms at times in order to convey his own truth to us in the most easiest way for us to comprehend it individually. So you might have totally different experiences, but they're still divine in their own way. So with me, I was asked a question by God, and it was simply like this: how will you understand my revelations? And I intuitively, instantly knew from the heart to respond with saying, I don't just listen to your words as they come to me, I feel the energetic vibration behind the words. And then he smiled. Because he was looking for that answer, I suppose, but ultimately I know for myself as well, that is how you find true power in anything. If you read scriptures, whatever they are, the Bible, the Quran, or the Bhagavad Gita from India, etc. If you read all these ancient scriptures, if you bear your heart upon them, if you truly try to feel the meaning behind all the words, then they will reveal the truth. Then they will reveal true inspiration and strength for your own development. Comes through the heart. And true messages are spoken from the heart as well. So it's a good sign, at least so far as I see, that I'm speaking from the heart, not from the egoic mind or some egoic fancies of mine. I know they're coming straight from the spiritual realms, what I'm trying to reveal here with you, and that's why it's also sometimes a bit difficult to probably convey these things through human language. Because ultimately, if you start to meditate yourself on these energy points and start to contemplate it, start to feel and sense how they influence you throughout your lifetime, you will develop your own awareness and wisdom concerning them. Because these base 3 chakras, again, keep you bound to the material realm. And it's so easy to grasp that once you contemplate it in your own life, how it works. The higher chakras keep you locked and focused into the non-physical spiritual realms of your existence. And it's through those spiritual realms you will ultimately overcome the limitations of you being just a physical being that had been lost and has to struggle and suffer so greatly until the grave. Because that is how life is for most people. They are completely unaware of the higher chakras and how they can influence their own existence, how they can actually expand their own awareness and make them realize the beauty that is truly lying behind all of creation. This unity of beauty, this unity, this eternity, this infinity of God can be felt through the heart. And then it can also be perceived through the third eye. Although infinity can't be seen in its entirety at all as individuality, but you can perceive more and more aspects of that eternity that you are a part of. And that is absolutely amazing and wonderful. Now, another thing about the crown chakra allowing the soul to descend into the body, energizing it, in the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads of Hinduism, they actually talk about when a person dies, there's this ability, this chance for them to rise up with the soul out of the body through the crown chakra into the unity with God. But they also said there is another tendency that sadly many people will fall into, and they will go downwards through the lower chakras out of their body, which was symbolism and an indication that they still had a lot of physical desires. You know, people can die with sexual desires, like craving it like crazy, right? They're like, oh, I want more of that. I want more of that. They could think, oh my God, I love the food physically so much. I want more food. I want another incarnation on this planet to eat more and more. Or they could have for money. All these desires, physically speaking, must go. That's what they say in Hinduism. And for many people that sounds sad. They're like, oh, if they all go, I don't see any purpose to my existence. Well, that's the problem, right? That is part of you believing that you're a physical human being, and therefore you need physical goals in order to have some purpose to your existence, physically speaking. But if you knew you are an eternal soul, one with God, that can have anything they want already, it's already in your possession, spiritually speaking, then there's no need to dwell in the physical world any longer for that person in particular. That is what their awakening will be all about. Because where will you fulfill your desires at that point? You fulfill them through God. God being the creator, God being one with everything, God can give you everything you desire if you awaken to your spiritual self. the true eternal self that is one with God. It's not this physical human egoic body and manifestation right now that we're talking about. We're talking about the very thing that you are that dwells in the body. And you can develop perception, sensation, and awareness about this deep inner core essence of yourself through meditation. So if you close your eyes, as we said, focus simply on the third eye. Put your attention on that place between the eyebrows on the front of your head, where the third eye is symbolically located. You will discover, again, it depends on your own ability to focus, but if you focus there intensely enough, you will lose sensation of the body, and then either you will start to see things naturally, or you can use this as a practice before going to sleep at night, so that you start to have way more spiritual visions while the body's asleep, because you are preparing yourself, you're allowing yourself to start seeing beyond the limitations of the flesh through this act of meditation. Because I've had this happen, not all the time, but I've had it happen enough that I know that even by sitting still, when I close my eyes and focus on the third eye, I might start to see things, as has happened to me before. I didn't even have to go to sleep. I would just start seeing literally things, and I knew when I was smiling inside my soul, it got me very happy in a way, because it was always small confirmations that it is true. There's spiritual power hidden within us that is allowing us to overcome all the physical limitations. I could start seeing my own room with my eyes closed, and in order to prove that, I lifted up my hands and started pushing them into my eyes. I lifted up my hands, pushed my fingers into my eyes. Now, we all know if your eyes are open and you push your fingers in there, it's not gonna feel comfortable, right? But I knew my eyes were closed, and yet I could see the room. I could see my hands holding them in front of my eyes, and with my third eye chakra, with an invisible eye, a spiritual eye. Then I pushed it on my eyes itself, and I felt, hey, they are really close, but yet I can see. I could look around my room, and it just made me kind of happy, because I realized, there we go. We got some more confirmation of this mysterious third eye that everyone in the East especially is talking about. And it can be the same for you, but you gotta make time for it. You gotta be willing to sit down and meditate. There's no point in hoping or waiting, well, maybe someday I'll be aware of this, who knows. That's sadly how most people look at it, but the more you take this all into your own hands, the faster your spiritual evolution will become, the faster you will reach and receive that unity with God that was there, hidden from view because of physical perceptions. Again, your soul is energizing your body through the brain and spinal cord and central nervous system, energizing the senses, making them active so that you can perceive physicality. But if through meditation you withdraw this focus from outwardly inwardly into the third eye chakra, you can learn to energize your spiritual eye, and ultimately that will lead to spiritual perception. That is why you want to meditate. That is why you want to contemplate the energy centers for yourself. Because again, if you really pay attention to them, you'll start to notice how they are controlling you, how they are influencing your state of living currently on this planet. And if you want to have more spiritual awareness, you're going to have to work with the energy centers that deal directly with the spiritual side of your existence. That is one of those secrets, those subtle secrets that, if worked with, you're going to find wonderful revelations that will take you beyond the flesh. It will be such a wonderful thing for you to experience your unity with God. Can't be even described in words, but it is absolutely amazing and fun to keep working with all day long, every day almost. Yeah, you can do stuff, of course, physically speaking, for fun, but you'll always have God in your heart. You always have this awareness with you that you know you're a spiritual being from actual, practical, individual experience. If you can reach that, if you can develop the experience for yourself, then you have the true wisdom, then you have the true power. Just hearing about this and then hoping that this may or may not be true is not really going to do you any good. It might, satisfy you or soothe you during the hardships of physical life, but to actually go beyond it for yourself is ultimately where the real power resides and real guidance can come in for your own journey. So I hope you'll take it to heart. Anyways, I haven't said this in a long time, but with that being said, dear viewer, never forget that we are the dreamers.